The conference room fell silent so suddenly that even the faint hum of the air conditioner seemed unbearably loud. Every employee froze as the CEO slammed his hand onto the polished table, his face burning with anger. His sharp voice echoed through the room, cutting through every ounce of dignity the man standing before him still had. He barked that if the single father could not follow his orders without questioning them, then he should pack his desk and leave. 30 pairs of eyes shifted toward the quiet employee who had spent nearly a decade helping build the company from the ground up. His shoulders remained straight, but the pain behind his eyes could not be hidden. Without raising his voice or defending himself, he slowly gathered the files in front of him, nodded once, and walked toward the door. No one realized that the man they had just watched leave would soon teach everyone in that building the true meaning of courage, respect, and self-worth. If you believe kindness and second chances can change someone's life, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Lifeline Tales for more emotional stories that stay with you long after they end. The man who walked away that morning was named Adrian Mercer, a devoted single father whose entire world revolved around his 8-year-old daughter, Nora. Ever since losing his wife to a sudden illness 4 years earlier, every sunrise had become another promise to keep. He promised to attend every school event, to braid Nora's hair even though he had learned from online videos, to smile during bedtime stories even when exhaustion weighed on every muscle in his body, and to never allow her to feel the emptiness that had settled inside his own heart. Life had become a careful balance between work deadlines, grocery shopping, school lunches, laundry, and bedtime hugs. There were no grandparents nearby, no relatives offering help, and no shortcuts. There was only a father quietly carrying more weight than anyone around him ever noticed. The conflict that ended his career had started with a simple request. The CEO demanded that Adrian stay late for another emergency meeting, even though Adrian had explained weeks earlier that he needed to pick up Nora from her after-school science competition. It was her first chance to present a project she had spent months building from recycled materials. Adrian had promised he would be there in the front row cheering louder than anyone else. Breaking that promise was never an option. To the CEO, however, family responsibilities sounded like excuses. He believed work should always come first, and anyone unwilling to sacrifice everything for the company simply lacked commitment. Adrian quietly refused to abandon his daughter, and those few words cost him his career. Walking through the company lobby carrying a small cardboard box filled with family photographs, notebooks, and a coffee mug Nora had painted for Father's Day felt strangely peaceful. He had expected humiliation, but instead he felt relief. The building that once represented security had slowly become a place where humanity was measured only by profits. As the glass doors closed behind him, the warm afternoon sunlight touched his face, and for the first time in years, he felt free despite having no idea how he would pay next month's rent. That afternoon, Adrian reached Nora's school just as the judges announced the winners. From the stage, Nora searched the audience with nervous eyes until she spotted her father smiling proudly in the front row. Her face instantly lit up brighter than the trophy she carried moments later. She did not know he had lost his job only hours before. She only knew that her father had kept his promise. When she ran into his arms holding the handmade robot she had built, Adrian realized that no salary in the world could replace that single moment. Reality arrived the following morning. Bills continued arriving regardless of hope. Savings disappeared faster than expected. Adrian spent every day sending applications, attending interviews, and hearing the same disappointing response. Companies admired his experience but questioned whether he could handle demanding schedules as a single parent. Some politely rejected him. Others never replied at all. Each rejection chipped away at his confidence, but every evening Nora would proudly place another drawing on the refrigerator with messages reminding him that he was her superhero. Those childish words became stronger than any motivational speech. To stretch their limited budget, Adrian began repairing broken furniture for neighbors. He fixed old bicycles, restored wooden tables, painted fences, and assembled shelves. People noticed that he worked carefully, charged fairly, and always left every home cleaner than he had found it. One satisfied customer recommended him to another. Soon weekends became fully booked. Though the income remained modest, something unexpected happened. Adrian found genuine happiness solving real problems for grateful people instead of sitting through endless meetings filled with impossible demands. One rainy afternoon, an elderly bookstore owner asked Adrian to repair damaged shelves after a leaking roof collapsed. Instead of rushing through the job, Adrian stayed late organizing hundreds of books before leaving. The owner watched quietly, amazed that someone would do extra work without expecting additional payment. Before Adrian finished, customers had already begun complimenting the beautiful transformation. The bookstore owner later shared photos online, praising Adrian's honesty and dedication. Thousands of people viewed the post within days. Among those readers was Celine Whitmore, the founder of a respected community business network that supported ethical entrepreneurs. She believed successful companies should value people before profits. Curious about the glowing recommendations surrounding Adrian, she invited him for coffee. Rather than offering sympathy, she listened carefully to his journey and recognized something many employers had overlooked. She saw resilience, integrity, leadership, and compassion, qualities impossible to teach but invaluable in any organization. Instead of offering Adrian another ordinary job, Celine proposed something entirely different. She encouraged him to launch a home service company built on the values he already practiced every day. She connected him with experienced mentors, local investors, and small business workshops. Adrian hesitated. Starting a company felt impossible for someone struggling to pay utility bills. Yet every successful person he met reminded him that great businesses often begin during life's darkest chapters. Months passed filled with sacrifice. Adrian worked before sunrise and long after sunset. Nora often sat beside him doing homework while he planned schedules, answered customer emails, and designed simple advertisements. Their tiny apartment slowly transformed into a headquarters filled with tools, notebooks, calendars, and dreams. Every completed project brought another recommendation. Every satisfied customer became free advertising. Slowly, the impossible became reality. Within 2 years, Adrian's company employed dozens of people, many of whom were single parents themselves. Flexible schedules replaced rigid policies. Family emergencies were met with understanding instead of punishment. Employees celebrated birthdays together, attended each other's children's graduations, and genuinely cared about one another. Productivity rose not because people feared losing their jobs but because they finally felt respected. Adrian never forgot the humiliation he experienced in that conference room, and he quietly promised himself no employee under his leadership would ever be forced to choose between work and family. Meanwhile, the corporation Adrian had left behind began losing talented workers. High turnover, poor morale, and public criticism damaged its reputation. Investors questioned leadership decisions, and longtime clients moved elsewhere. Ironically, the company that once considered compassion a weakness discovered that ignoring people eventually destroys profits as well. Fate arranged one final meeting during a regional business leadership conference. Adrian attended as a keynote speaker discussing ethical leadership and workplace culture. Sitting quietly in the audience was the same CEO who had dismissed him years earlier. Time had softened neither the memories nor the lessons. Adrian spoke calmly about trust, loyalty, and the invisible strength carried by ordinary people fighting extraordinary battles. He never mentioned names or sought revenge. His success itself became the answer. After the conference ended, many young entrepreneurs surrounded Adrian asking for advice. They admired not only the company he had built but the values behind it. Across the room, the former CEO watched silently, realizing too late that the employee he had considered replaceable had become the leader everyone now respected. That evening Adrian returned home where Nora, now older and full of confidence, waited proudly with dinner she had learned to cook herself. Looking around their cozy home, Adrian realized true success had never been measured by office titles, luxury cars, or executive offices. It had been measured by promises kept, tears comforted, and the courage to walk away from places that demanded the sacrifice of one's humanity. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that dignity is worth more than any paycheck, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Lifeline Tales so more people can discover stories filled with hope, courage, and compassion.